have a discussion about the Raptors finalizing the roster for training camp for the upcoming season. They had 21 spots. They just filled out all 21 spots, and in doing so, it could cost Jeff Dowtin a roster position for the upcoming season. Allow me now to finally explain. So, if anybody was not aware, the Raptors have finished off their roster for training camp by adding in 3 new players to the team. Most notably, it is Garrett Temple, who has signed on a $3.2 million contract for 1 year. It has not been officially confirmed at the time of recording here on August 1st if that is a fully guaranteed deal for Garrett Temple. I would imagine it is, but it has not been fully confirmed. And they've also added in Mohamedou Gay, somebody who was pretty good on the Summer League team, on an Exhibit 10, as well as Kevin Obanor, if that's how you pronounce it, on an Exhibit 10 contract. So 2 Exhibit 10 guys coming in, along with Garrett Temple, which has rounded off the 21-man roster you are now allowed to have for summer camp. And of those 21 players, 15 of them are on guaranteed deals for the upcoming season, if that includes Garrett Temple. So here's a visual of what it all looks like. Garrett Temple for now is unknown. I'm going to assume he's on a guaranteed contract, but just for the sake of what I'm going to say over the course of this one, because why this is such an effect on Jeff Dowtin, as much as we've been able to extend the summer camp rosters to 21 players rather than 20 players, Jeff Dowtin is still in danger because you can have 15 contracts on your 15 players on your main roster for the season, so 15 players, and you can have 3 players on two-way contract. We figured out our two-way guys. These 2 players here probably have like no chance whatsoever of making the final roster. They're on their Exhibit 10 deals. Exhibit 10 deals basically are a bigger incentive for guys you want to sign to your G League team. It's a bigger incentive for those players to sign with your team because they get a bit of an extra payday signing that Exhibit 10 contract rather than signing on a standard G League contract. A standard G League contract, by the way, the average one is like less than $40,000, so very difficult to live off of. There is a significant jump in pay when you're on one of those Exhibit 10 deals. So congratulations to Mohamedou Gay over here for landing one of those contracts. I thought that potentially Moses Brown would have been better to provide that contract to. I was pretty impressed with what I saw from Moses Brown in Summer League. He's a guy the Raptors have had their eyes on for a couple of years now, ever since he was on the Dallas Mavericks as well as the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's kind of a curious thing because I really liked the pick and roll combination between Marquise Noel and Moses Brown in Summer League. And Marquise Noel, I really like his talent. His size is a problem, but I'm very interested to see what he can do with the G League team. And maybe Marquise Noel finds a way to carve out an NBA role at some time. Maybe even this season or at some time in his career. But I think to maximize Marquise Noel, you really need to give him a good pick and roll partner. Like, he really needs the high pick and roll to work his game properly. So I thought that, hey, Moses Brown's a great pick and roll partner. Apparently the two have experience playing with each other at an earlier stage in their lives. I think before post-secondary, before college type of thing. Unconfirmed, but that's what I've been told. Anyways, would have been good to have them as pick and roll partners in the G League. Instead, the Raptors have opted to give that spot to Mohamedou Gay. Now, Mohamedou Gay was fine in Summer League, but you're taking away Moses Brown's pick and roll partner. Unless that pick and roll partner is maybe trending towards being Christian Koloko. Now, that's an interesting one to consider because this could mean Koloko is expected to get time in the G League. They want to make sure Koloko is getting all the bulk of the reps at center in the G League, playing the pick and roll with Marquise Noel. I think that's going to do a lot for Koloko's game, and I think that would be a good partner for Marquise Noel. But I think the decision to overlook Moses Brown is kind of an indication to me that they want to give Koloko those reps, and he may not be getting all those NBA reps from the start of the season. And with like so many players already on the team, it kind of makes sense. He wouldn't have got a ton of playtime anyway. So give him more playtime with a good point guard like Marquise Noel in the G League. That's just something that piqued my curiosity in this. But the main thing that we have to discuss here, because you can only have 15 players in your roster other than the two-way guys, the Raptors would have to cut a guaranteed contract, assuming Temple's on a guaranteed contract. The Raptors have to cut a guaranteed contract to make room for Jeff Dowtin. Now, Jeff Dowtin has a sizable amount of money coming his way by his standards. He's like 27 years old now. Sizable amount of money coming his way if he does land a spot on the roster. If he lands a spot on the roster, he's guaranteed for the season. But the Raptors, who are going to be looking for a reason to cut somebody because they have to cut one guy here, it's likely going to be Jeff Dowtin. It's likely going to be the Exhibit 10. I mean, it's going to be the Exhibit 10 guys. And on the side as well, it is likely going to be Jeff Dowtin. And that's a little bit of a shame. And I'll explain why that is more than maybe just a little bit of a shame. So, first of all, Jeff Dowtin showcased last season that he is a player capable of contributing for an NBA team. Regardless of age, regardless of upside, he is a player capable of contributing on the NBA team. And he did so for the Raptors last season. And he did so ahead of guys who are here like Malachi Flynn. Just under a year ago, the Raptors picked up Malachi Flynn's fourth year on his contract, paying him over $4 million, I believe, for the upcoming season. And that was after 3 years of Malachi Flynn really underwhelming. And the fact that Jeff Dowtin outplayed Malachi Flynn last season, because Jeff Dowtin was the guy getting the important reps for the team, not Malachi Flynn. And when Jeff Dowtin's 50-game expiry hit and he couldn't play anymore, Malachi Flynn still didn't play. So they liked Jeff Dowtin. And this decision to give Malachi Flynn that guarantee worth $4 million for the upcoming season, like the amount of players the Raptors probably want to work with suffering at the hands of Malachi Flynn getting this unnecessary contract is so frustrating, because it's the reason Jeff Dowtin is the favorite to not make the roster out of all the players here. And it's the reason why Delano Banton doesn't wear a Raptors uniform anymore. Now, I'm not completely sold on Delano Banton. I was pretty out on the player, but does Malachi Flynn really deserve that spot ahead of him? That's certainly a debatable topic. So a little bit upset that they seem to have a lot of backing in Malachi Flynn even today, despite him having shown relatively little, close to nothing, whereas Jeff Dowtin legitimately contributed to winning basketball last season, and it looks like he is a guy that is going to lose his job. So other guys within the guaranteed contract space here that could be the ones to lose their role. I mean, looking up here, the only ones that you could actually perceive getting waived, maybe Otto, maybe Thad. But other than that, maybe Garrett Temple. They gave him a guarantee, so I doubt it. But maybe those three guys, maybe they do waive Malachi Flynn. So the situation right now, the Raptors actually do have a little bit of financial flexibility. I believe they are $3.1 million under the tax. So technically they could pick up some dead cap here and still be under the tax and still operate under the tax. So that would be fine for them to do. But it's still not that simple. Malachi Flynn makes more than that, around $4 million. Otto Porter Jr. makes $6 million. Garrett Temple makes $3.2 million, and they just signed him. So why the hell would they sign him to a guarantee just to waive him? And Thaddeus Young makes $8 million. I'm going to talk more about Thaddeus Young in just a second here, but for Garrett Temple, I think this is a bit... I think I was not harsh enough in my video yesterday on the player. Garrett Temple, this kind of screams to me what Juancho Hernangomez was last season. You know, they gave Juancho a guarantee, not really understanding why they gave him a guarantee, and then midway through the season, well, this guy's not very good. Gotta pay him the full guarantee, but we still want to waive him and try to sign somebody else. We signed Will Barton. That also didn't work out, but kind of weird why the Raptors committed a full, we would expect a full guarantee to Garrett Temple for the upcoming season, when I would be shocked if Garrett Temple provided more to this team than Jeff Dowtin could provide to this team. So it just seems like for financial reasons, Jeff Dowtin is going to be the guy to not make the roster. We've also committed a roster spot to Thaddeus Young. Now, why Thaddeus Young's guarantee was picked up for the upcoming season? It was picked up on June 30th. He was fully guaranteed. He only had a $1 million guarantee for this season. On June 30th, the Raptors decided they were going to fully guarantee him for the season. Essentially, what that was, allowing Thad to walk wouldn't have freed up much cap space, but giving him the $8 million guarantee for the season at least allows you to use that $8 million to salary match in a trade. I promise you, the Raptors don't care about Thaddeus Young's basketball abilities. They know he's not very good. They know he's not worth $8 million. But at least that $8 million is there to trade. But what it does consequentially, having that $8 million to trade, is it takes away a roster spot from a player who could actually help your team like Jeff Dowtin. So that's why it's looking like Jeff Dowtin is the player that is going to get waived. It's a shame. He's a good player, especially for a team that is severely lacking in point guard depth. But I would wager that it's Jeff Dowtin that's going to be getting waived. Again, it could be somebody else, but that is going to cost the Raptors, and it likely cost them going into the tax. So would be surprised to see it go in any other direction.